Hey everyone, we're back at Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3. We're going to take a look at Starlink Battle for Atlas, and to show off this game, we've brought some people that know this game probably better than anyone, our friends from Ubisoft. We have Matt, the producer for Starlink Battle for Atlas, and Laurent, the creative director. So really excited to have you guys and to sort of show us what you've been working on. I'm really excited to see what you guys have to show us. So
yeah,
please
thank you so much for having us here.
Yeah.
So Starlink Battle for Atlas is an open-world action-adventure game that's going to take you 400 light years away from Earth to the Atlas star system. And it follows the journey of a team called the Starlink Initiative who are blasting off there. And it features this really, really cool modular starship where every single piece that you put on instantly appears in-game and lets you adapt and reconfigure your abilities on the fly to take on any challenge.
It's so cool. I'm so excited.
So basically the game is based around this idea of a modular starship. So you can see here I got my Joy-Con on my Starlink mount, and the first thing you're going to want to do is plug in a character. So all of them have different abilities. So right here I'm going to take Mason Rana, who is in our story is the inventor of the Starlink technology. And you can slide him in, and as soon as you link it there, you can see it getting ready into action on the screen. And so the next thing that you want to do is equip yourself with a starship. So they all belong to like different classes. This one belongs to like a high performance class, so it allows you to be extremely agile. So I'm going to connect it right now. And you can see it appears instantly in the game. I'm going to plug in some wings.
Yeah, probably need some wings. Look, I love that.
Yeah, it's an absolutely instantaneous connection. This is a technology we've built from the ground up with our team at Ubisoft Toronto. And there's actually a ton of flexibility with how you build. You can see, Laurent, you can take parts off, you can stack parts, you can reverse parts. Anything you build will be instantly recreated in-game. And not only does that change the appearance of your ship, that's also going to change your abilities and your stats and how your ship works in the game.
So the next thing to do after you build your starship is to link some weapons. So we're going to start with this Gatling here. It's a great medium range, high rate of fire weapon, and we're going to continue with the Frost Barrage here. Frost Barrage is great. You can deliver a series of homing missiles to our target, so that's pretty cool. So you're in the Atlas star system now, and you can go pretty much anywhere, but right now we are on a mission to track down a big unit from the Forgotten Legion, the enemy of the game, that we call the Legion Prime. So we don't know the location of the Prime, but we know that it just planted a big extractor on this planet, and it's destroying this planet. So we gotta destroy that extractor tower to be able to locate the Prime.
And I see you flying into the planet. I really like that you have that sort of that. You obviously fly once you get to the planet, but flying into planets I feel like is a cool part of making that world feel big. And
yeah, absolutely. So this features completely seamless travel from space down to the surface of planets, from planets back up to space. And there's tons of things to discover in space as well, you know, different points of interest and derelict spaceships and outlaw hideouts, all sorts of cool, fun things to discover.
I don't know if it'll work, but the extractor it planted, you need to go there.
And these planets are actually real, spherical, circumnavigable planets. So Laurent's currently landed on the night side of Sonatas, but he could fly completely around this sphere, go to the day side, discover different secrets and history and puzzles. These are absolutely massive open worlds.
Yeah, they look like vibrant ecosystems. I'm seeing foliage, I'm seeing some creatures running around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Each has its own unique flora and fauna. There's different factions that you can ally with, and you can actually, collect. So, for instance, the animals that you're seeing, you could go scan them, take DNA samples, and take that to the local scientist faction called the Expedition, who will help use that to craft mods to upgrade all of your gear.
That's really cool.
So right now I'm entering the electrical storm that is caused by this extractor tower. So we're going to land on the ground at any time. So you can fly in the game, of course, but at any time you can land and transition to skimming mode like this. This tower is protected by those Cyclopes from the Legion, so let's try to take them down. You can dodge left and right to avoid their projectiles. You can also jump like this, and if you hold the jump button, you're able to. Oh wow, this one's aggressive. So if you hold the jump button, you can hover a bit in the air like this, so that's very useful to avoid the attacks of the enemies.
There's actually a ton of depth to the combat, so I don't know if you're noticing, but Laurent is able to aim right at their eye to do extra critical damage, take those guys out. You have a shield, and if you time that shield just right, you can use that to parry their attacks as they come in, reflect them back at them. So it's one of those kind of things that's easy to learn and easy to get in, really accessible controls, but there's a ton of depth there to master.
That's really cool.
So right now I'm trying to take down this extractor node to get access to the main weak point of this extractor tower. So there it is. But the Forgotten Legion are trying to protect themselves, so I got to avoid their attack while taking down their buildings.
And the ship that Laurent's in right now is called Pulse, and this is, as Laurent mentioned, it's kind of a performance ship. It's really, really fast. It's really agile, but it doesn't have a ton of armor. So this is depending on your play style, your choice of which ship, which wings, which weapons you're using, will constantly evolve into something people experiment with and find kind of their preference.
And I imagine you might even want to switch out sort of different things depending on what enemy you're facing or what situation you're in.
Absolutely, yeah. So here, for example, I can decide to switch at any time my Frost Barrage for my Levitator. And Levitator is a great weapon. It will put the enemies in a state of stasis, so it will make them float around. It's also very, very useful against enemies like this Ice Cyclops, because it can make them float, and then they're not attacking me, so I can finish them off while they're in the air.
I love that you just switched out that weapon in real time. It's almost like, I mean, you're the pilot as a player in this game, but you're almost also like the engineer that's like lurking in the bottom of the spaceship, switching out the weapons or the wings or changing the weight. Like, you don't usually get to play that role, I guess, and do it manually.
And certainly, it's almost unprecedented to have that kind of ship customization in real time in the middle of combat, right? Like anything you can think of, you can experiment and try that out right away.
So right now I just used my pilot ability, so Mason Rana can trigger an orbital strike from the Equinox, the mothership of the Starlink initiative. So that's been very effective against this tower.
Now, let me see. The prime is there. Quickly, before it plants more.
And so when you destroy towers like this, the storm will clear out, and you'll be able to take away this extractor core, and later on in the game to trade it for Nova, a very rare resource that will be useful for you to build your alliance. So I want to show you a different ship. So we just finished the extractor. Okay. We're going to go after the prime, but let's reconfigure a bit and link a new ship. So you can, at any time, you can remove your starship like this.
And I love seeing all these starships just laid out in front of us. It's so cool.
Yeah, totally.
And we can switch pilots. So I'm going to equip a Judge or alien robot from the Starlink initiative. And I'm going to link it.
So Judge is actually a gaseous form alien, as you just kind of saw zoomed in on his head there.
Oh, yeah.
And the founder of the Starlink initiative, Victor St. Grand, actually built this containment suit to help him communicate and interact with all of the equipment that they have. And Judge has a super, super powerful pilot ability, which is all geared around slowing down time to give you these windows of opportunity to take out, weak points or take out bosses, or even just gain more control on the battlefield.
So I just connected his ship that we call Neptune. It's a great ship that has a lot of defense. And for the moment, I'm gonna keep my. Actually, I'm gonna switch to my Volcano Gatling. It's a Gatling that is able to also increase the temperature of the enemies and make them weaker after that. So it's gonna be a great combo with my Levitator.
We've got this overhead shot, picture-in-picture of that starship in your hands. It looks so cool as you like clicked it in and.
So this ship is like completely the opposite of the one that Laurent was using before. This is kind of a tank class. Tons of armor, really, really stable. No one's going to knock you out of the sky. No one's going to knock you around. But, a little bit slower, a little bit different handling to Pulse.
So there's tons of things to do in the game, like here those lights belong to an outpost that later on in the game you're going to be able to interact with. You can talk to them, offer help to them, and to have them to join the alliance against the Forgotten Legion.
You'll have to hurry.
And this is I was going to say, it's like it's a fully circumnavigable planet. So we were on the dark side, but now we're making our way to the light side of the planet here.
Oh yeah, I love the art style. I think it is very, very attractive look to it. And
it looks absolutely gorgeous in handheld mode as well. You know, keep in mind that every single physical starship that you connect actually unlocks a digital version of itself. So that, you know, if you're playing on the go, you know, you want to play at home on the TV with your toys, and then you swap to handheld mode, you still have access to your full collection and this full giant open world experience.
That's so neat.
So this is the Legion Prime, which right now is roaming this world completely free. And if we don't stop him, he's going to plant a new extractor, so let's go after him.
Link your best equipment. You can't hold back.
Yeah, the enemies on this planet, they have like animal-like movements, but seem robotic as well. They're
yeah, so they're actually
cool.
from an ancient group called the Forgotten Legion. They're remnants of a long-forgotten Forerunner race called the Wardens that kind of are one of the big mysteries in the game that you're going to dig into and learn more about over the course of the story. And for whatever reason, they've actually kind of come up back out of the ground. They've been revived. There's been a reawakening. And now they're starting to begin a harvest and actually completely take over and destroy these planets. So, you know, not only are you fighting to save Atlas, but, you know, the implications of them completing their mission actually have much bigger effect on the entire galaxy beyond.
So I'm going to use my pilot ability there, so Judge can slow down time. So it's great because it gives me more time to take down the main core weak point of this creature right here. So now he's not happy about us.
And one of the amazing things about the enemies in Starlink, in fact, not only the enemies, all units and all enemies and allies and creatures, is unlike most traditional open world games, every single enemy, every ally, every animal are always living their lives on every single planet on the game all the time. So it's completely dynamic. If Laurent were to put down the controller and walk away for a couple of hours, this Legion Prime would actually walk over the surface of this planet, creating more of those extractor towers, making himself more powerful. And ultimately, you know, that's happening on every planet. So the entire system could become completely infected. If, you know, so you are really the agent of change that can cause the difference there.
I find that so interesting because, like, yeah, they're not just waiting for you to show up and like, oh, let's attack you now. They're living out. They have their own objectives and goals, and they're doing their thing. And it's up to you to insert yourself in that storyline.
And you can use that to your advantage because, you know, keep in mind it's also your allies. So, you know, if you go down to a planet and, you know, build up tons of defense bases and turrets and alliance, you know, really build that strong alliance. Even when you're not on that planet, they're still fighting back against the Legion for you. You know, they're still taking over and helping save that planet.
So right now, the Prime is trying to find what we call an electrum vein. The electrum, it's like a rare mineral that is in abundance in the world of Atlas, and he's going to try to supercharge himself to take me down. So we're going to have to finish him off. It's like the second phase of this combat. So now he's got those corrupted Nova crystal on his knees, and he can attack me with those powerful lasers.
I'm just like lost looking at the sky. I'm like, wow, it's so pretty.
Yeah, sometimes you can look up and see like a distant outlaw stronghold or something in space that you could fly to. You know, you're actually fully seeing out into this star system here. And you know, Atlas is 7 giant open worlds that you can visit. Each one is so unique and handcrafted. You can actually see one in the sky just above Laurent there. But each one of these, you know, has layers of history that we've developed and secrets that you can discover.
So you can also, so like I was saying, you can also change all your equipment at any time, or your starship. And we actually got something special for you that we brought that we're super excited to show you.
I'm excited.
So you already know that there's the R-Wing, the legendary R-Wing,
yes.
Coming into Starlink Battle for Atlas, and it's like it's an amazing starship. It's like we added some mechanical movement here, so you can move the wings like that and put it into combat position.
It looks really, really good.
And we also have Fox McCloud, of course, here. And so we wanted to show you something that we haven't shown to anybody yet, which is
really
what
cool.
happens when you connect Fox to the game. So let's do this, and let's finish the prime like this. So I'm going to remove Judge here, and I'm going to connect Fox.
All right, let's see that game. Ah.
You can actually play as Fox throughout the entire game, the entire campaign. And not only that, exclusively on Nintendo Switch, of course, we also have a whole set of Star Fox missions. And it follows the story of how Fox came to Atlas and how he's teamed up with the Starlink initiative. And there may be some other familiar, friendly faces along the way.
It's so exciting, yeah. It's so cool to think of Fox and his crew out, you know, in space, and then connecting with the star system, and then inserting into the storyline.
Absolutely. And for us, you know, Star Fox was just such a wonderful, natural fit. It's been, you know, a dream of ours to be able to invite, you know, Fox and his crew into Atlas, and so it's, you know, it's just amazing. How closely and how naturally the two properties fit together.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect pairing, and the R-Wing does not look out of place here. It looks awesome.
Yeah, totally.
And I noticed, Laurent, that you didn't actually attach any weapons to it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You still have lasers, though.
Absolutely, because when you don't attach weapon, and this is the only ship who does that, when you don't attach weapon to the R-Wing, you can actually use the laser cannon from the R-Wing. I can charge my shot like I'm doing here to do devastating damage on the Prime. And this is awesome because you can use the wings as weapons exclusively with those particular wings.
But of course, you could also attach any of the other weapons to the R-Wing, which is like something we've never seen, is the R-Wing with like a, I don't know, a Gatling gun or a flamethrower or something.
Absolutely. You can see there I just connected my levitator on my left wing, so I can still use my laser, the laser of my right wing, but I can use my levitator from my left side.
And of course, keep in mind, you know, you can go up, you know, fly at any time. You could exit the atmosphere at any time. It looks like Laurent's going to finish off this Prime.
We got it.
Nice. I like how Fox swooped in.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Today.
And so when you destroy the Prime like this, you'll be able to retrieve its main core and also some mods for your starship and weapons, because you can equip different mods to make your gear even better. Each pilot also have a different ability, but they also have a different skill tree that you can customize as you play the game.
In fact, I think you just got a powerful mod now. Why don't you go and augment the R-Wing?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do that. Let me go in my mod screen here. And this one is giving me 20 plus 20 speed. I can just change it and let's say, for example, plus 35 handling and more speed. So let's take this one.
And there's a ton of depth to the RPG progression in Starlink. So each of your ships, you know, has different cores, different armors, boosters. You know, your weapons, you can swap out the ammo. Your pilots are fully upgradable. And, you know, it actually goes way deeper than that.
Yeah, and you mentioned all the ships. I mean, switching ships is cool, but switching ships is also important. Like, if you die, if you lose a mission, you could bring in a new ship, and you kind of need those to progress.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, it's really, really important for us that, you know, the entire game is something that you can finish just with the starter pack. You get a ton of content in the starter pack on Nintendo Switch. You know, the starter pack actually comes with the legendary R-Wing. It comes with Fox McCloud. It comes with Mason Rana, who is a pilot that Laurent was using earlier. He's kind of the newest member of the Starlink initiative. It comes with digital versions of some equipment. It also comes with some weapons and things like that. But it also comes with additional digital content. For instance, Mason's ship, Zenith, and the wings for that.
So really, it comes with everything. It's going to come with everything you need to sort of have this adventure. But
That's
of course,
right.
you could get more things, more weapons, more mods.
Yeah, totally. So, you know, for sure you can complete the entire game just with a starter pack. You know, there's none of that kind of hard gating of like, oh, there's a blue door, you need the blue spaceship to go through it. You know, for us, it's kind of this simplistic deck building element where, you know, we want the more ships that you have and the more parts that you have, the more creative options you have to really customize and build your play style and really make, you know, your dream starship and you know, your play style right fine-tuned to your liking.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to show on camera, but the fun, the feel of clicking these weapons and wings together is something that I've gotten to experience preparing for this segment, and it just has that. It kind of takes me back to being a kid, and I'm like flying around with the ship and attaching different wings. I was putting the R-wings wings on backwards, which looks kind of cool because everything can go either direction. So you can have a flamethrower pointing backwards or something.
Absolutely, yeah, and you can even like the R-wing embeds the Starlink technology, so you can remove its wing, flip them if you want. You can, like you were saying, yeah, you can connect like the flamethrower here, and if I fire it now, I connected it backwards, so it will fire backwards. If some enemies are attacking me from the back, I can use that strategy, or you can put it front like this.
And you know, keep in mind, as Laurent showed earlier, you can actually stack parts on parts. So you know, Laurent could add additional wings or swap out the wings. The R-wing, make kind of an extra wide R-wing.
Could you show that really quick? I'm not sure if I'm on the way to attack something, but it's cool when you stack a couple extra things on. And
yeah, absolutely. So for example, I can stack those wings here, and they will provide me with more defense. You can see actually that when I'm putting another wing on the ship kind of tilts a bit to take the weight of the piece, and but then correct itself. And
this is a pretty wicked looking R-wing, actually.
Yeah, I like that.
So those wings that Laurent just added are armor wings, so those are going to add more defense.
Look at that, now it's like a tank.
That's awesome. The trade-off is that...
do barrel roll!
Absolutely, you can do barrel roll with the R-wing, yeah.
So the trade-off of adding more parts is that's increasing the weight of your ship in the world, and you know that's going to change a little bit the way that it handles in the game. Oh yeah, and we've paid extra close attention to the details. So the barrel roll works just like it does in Star Fox. That'll deflect projectiles as they're coming in. You know, we're staying really, really true to the look and feel and effect.
Yeah, I think the Star Fox integration is something, you know, the voices, if the Star Fox voices sound familiar, it's because it is the same cast as the Star Fox Zero. So you guys really went the extra mile to work with us and to get those characters sounding as authentic as possible.
Absolutely.
And even your own characters. It seems like you guys put a lot of work into building out a cast of characters. They're all the fully voiced game.
Oh yeah.
And it feels like a world that's been. This feels like a fully realized world to me. That's just kind of waiting for you to join the game.
Yeah, you know, this is really a huge open world experience. We're so happy to bring it to the Nintendo Switch. In this way, and you know, I can't wait. We're only just scratching the surface here of an enormous game. So you know, with full cinematics, a full campaign, you know, all sorts of content, and this incredible dynamic living world that I can't wait for people to get their hands on.
You can always, each planet also that we've created or have their own history. We build their history and the mythology, like about what happened on those worlds and the previous civilizations who tried to establish themselves on those worlds. They have their own flora and fauna. So here we can see, we scan these creatures. You can scan any of the creatures and retrieve flora samples as well. And the characters will tell you more about those creatures.
I love just this visual of Fox, you know, in this foreign star system, like investigating this crazy creature. You know, up close.
Totally. Yeah, we've got a lot of fun dialogue about that. So
we love it too. It's just the first time Fox appeared in the game, we were like kids. Like, I mean, generally we are a bit like kids in the project. We're so excited about like those starships and the combining everything. We often play with those in the office. But when Fox arrived, it was like this magical moment.
Yeah, it was cool. I was watching your press conference when you guys announced that Fox was in the game, and it's got a really cool reaction. It's really exciting for all of us. You know, we're getting about out of time on this segment, but do you guys have any kind of closing thoughts you'd like to share with the Treehouse Live audience about your game?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. It's an amazing moment to be there with you and be able to show this. The game will release on October 16th. You will have, of course, you will be able to. I can't wait for people to put their hands on the R-Wing and play with it and with Fox. But the game also comes with exclusive Star Fox missions, and I can't wait to.
We got lots of surprises in store to come.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you guys so much. Laurent, creative director for Starlink Battle for Atlas. Matt, producer. I hope you guys had a good time looking at that game. I'm super excited to get my hands on it. You say get your hands on it about a lot of products, but like this one, literally, you get your hands on it. I mean, it is so cool.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. And stay tuned. We're going to be right back with some Super Smash Brothers Ultimate at a look at some new items we haven't shown yet. So stay tuned, you guys, and we'll be right back. Thanks.